Alright, guys. So, I'm back. I hope you all had a great New Year's Eve, and we start the new year with a comic review, and that is Venom, Lethal Protector, Heart of the Hunted. So, this was another comic that was sent to me by my good friend Chris. Chris, thank you once again. And, yeah. So, this one is another one of the Marvel Lost Stories comics that have been going around lately. These comics have essentially been a major staple for Marvel. Well, I wouldn't say major, but they do make sales. Like, they do make bank. These little miniseries of classic writers going and doing comics of, like, lost stories for them. Like, you have Peter David doing stuff with the Maestro. I did a review on the whole trilogy. There was also J.M. DeMatteis, who did a Ben Reilly story, which I'd like to read sometime. I keep seeing it in my local comic shop, and I might pick it up, because it came out roughly the same time they were destroying him with and making him into Chasm. So I kind of want to read that Ben Reilly Spider-Man book that was a mini-series to, like, it was set in the Clone Saga, obviously, and actually, like, closes a chapter that DeMatteis said, like, it was a loose end that I wanted to close. So it's kind of like they've been doing that for a while. And this is one of those books with Venom. Now, this is actually written by Dave Michelinie, the co-creator of Venom. Now, Michelinie has been one of those big writers for Spider-Man. I would argue that Dave Michelinie in the 80s and 90s was a major factor for Spider-Man. He was he was one of those, I think he was one of those legendary Spider-Man writers. Michelinie really, like, kind of shepherded the character and also did, like, a lot of cool stuff with him. But he's most known with Todd McFarlane co-creating Venom. So, in here, this is a Venom this is the Venom who's still, like, early in his Lethal Protector days. This is, like, a Venom who hasn't gone to LA yet. And yeah, so this is a Venom still in New York, still fresh on being Eddie Brock and the symbiote are still fresh being together. And there's no, like, I will say right now, there's no, like, secret, like, oh, is it, like, do we get a reference to Null or the symbiotes? No. It's literally like a mini-series that Michelinie wrote on hand. And what I like about Dave Michelinie, and when he writes Venom, like, as I think a lot of people forget, Venom's looks like a cool character, and I'm not going to argue that, but, like, he remembers that, like, Venom is a big dumb hypocrite, and he's a goofy moron in some cases. Like, there's some moments in here where, like, Eddie is, like, contemplating what the symbiote is like, we'll kill Spider-Man and defend them all from the innocent. And then some guy is like, spare change, man? And he's like, get a job, bum. And then he goes, steals a bunch of, jewelry and gives it to the old guy, and the old guy gets arrested. It's it's like moments like that, like, you remind you, oh yeah, Eddie Brock, when he started all this, was a hypocritical asshole. But yeah, so what is the main story of this? Like I said, this is Venom in his early days as the whole Lethal Protector job. And essentially what it is that Venom is being attacked by various D-list and C-list villains who have been hired by some unknown element. Meanwhile, the sub-story is that Carlton Drake has had the Life Foundation eyeing Venom, who want to hire him and use the symbiote for themselves. Now, Carlton Drake doesn't have a major factor, nor is he behind the supervillains, but yeah. It's also a lot of fun because Dave Michelinie uses a lot of characters that he created that no one uses. He literally has all these he literally brings in all these characters, and, like, it's characters he made. A lot of them are, like, the three, like, Blood Spider, Death Shield, and Jagged Bow, which were three expert students of Taskmaster that he made. I think he made them, yeah. And they all and he explains what happened to them. What happened to them is they all died. There's also Humbug, another D-list Spider-Man villain. And we also get a cool fight between Venom and Hydro Man. The story is a lot of fun, and it does invoke a lot, like, even the dialogue of, like, Michelinie clearly is still writing like he's in the 80s and 90s, because, like, people, like, characters monologue out loud, and there's no, like, call to it. Like, there's no one going, hey, why are you having a little soliloquy in the middle of this whole fight? It's like that. There's even thought bubbles And I've missed thought bubbles, honestly. They're dumb, but, like, I love the whole thing of thought bubbles. No one uses them anymore. It's all, like, text boxes now. Anyway. It's a fun book. If you're a major Venom fan and like classic Venom, because there's like goofy scenes in here, like Venom going to get an interview, but there's also moments where Venom reminds you he kills people. Like there's a scene where he's brutally killing people off screen, but Michelinie gives you enough of a description to where it's like, oh yeah, Venom is an asshole. But yeah. I rather enjoyed this book. If you want to read, like, a fun, like, not overcomplicated Venom book, here you go. Here's your Venom book. I really want to read the sequel when it comes out in trade. It's a story where Venom and Silver Sable battle Doctor Doom. So that'll be... I'm really excited for that. Michelinie really loves writing Doctor Doom because, again, it's that whole I get to wax poetically out loud. But, yeah. So once again, I'd like to thank Chris for the comic, and, yeah, hope you all enjoyed this review. Yeah, first video of the new year. Let's keep it going. Alright, guys. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.